Hello everyone. Um, it is Camilla here. I have not been on stream for a few months. Um, how are you? I'm going to be playing some chess. Well, I'm mostly going to be reading from a chess book and playing out playing out some games in here, trying to learn. Hello to West River. I'm sorry you can't get back to sleep, but I'm glad that I can help entertain. Um, So I sort of quit chess last year, um, something like 14 months ago. Um, and it was for a number of reasons. I was frustrated. I was getting more upset when I lost than happy when I won. Um, and I wasn't having much fun anymore. I was mostly kind of bored. Um, and bored and frustrated are a deadly combination. Um, so Callie and I have been watching Queen's Gambit, which is what got me into chess in the first place. And uh, I decided I kind of want to try again. But this time I'm going to get weird with it. I'm going to get very weird with it. So there's an opening in chess that is statistically the worst legitimate opening. We're not, of course, talking about the Ball Cloud, which is a joke opening, which is, of course, e4, e5, king e2. Um, and then of course the hotbox variation, which is king e7. Um, but today we're going to be talking about the Grob, which is g4. Or if you're playing black, I guess there is a Grob defense, g5. Something. I'm going to be reading The Killer Grob by Michael Bassman, international master. I don't know if he's made Grandmaster between 1991, when this was published, and now. I have no idea. I should look that up. Uh, Michael Bassman, chess player. International master. I mean, it's still good. I'm not going to act like I'm anywhere near there. Anyway, so let's get started. I had to set this whole thing up again. It was a pain. So please ignore where it says upgrade to save. I canceled my subscription. I wasn't playing. So, The Killer Grob by Michael Bassman. Introduction. The Grob was first played regularly by Swiss master Henry Grob, but not too successfully, and hardly ever appeared in international tournaments. I began playing it in 1979, and as this book shows, managed to defeat many masters and grandmasters with it. All these victories cannot be accidental, and any player reading this book will find a useful weapon, powerful but little known, to add to his opening repertoire. If the Grob is to be taken seriously, what is its novelty? Partly that in playing 1g4 or g5 for black, white or black ignores the firmly held dogma that one should open the game with a move by a center pawn. More particularly, the opening flouts a strongly held position that the castled position on the king's side is sacrosanct, and should be kept as a haven for the white or black king at all costs. However, I feel that the king can be used more flexibly, from his position in the center of the board, provided the pawns in front of him are not advanced too recklessly. He can take his time to decide whether he wishes to stay in the middle, go to the queen's side, or even enter his wrecked territory on the king's side. This little game, played in the 6th round of the Light and Buzzard Quick Play in November 1988, showed the unusual beginning of 1g4, but later quite a regular battle takes place for development and control of the center squares. When at last both sides castle, black does so to protect his king, while white aims to swing his rook into action for use on the center files. So this is International Master Michael Bassman playing as white, and International Master James Howell playing as black in the Light and Buzzard Quick Play in 1988. Ooh, Grob. Hello, Sonia. Thank you for the tier 1 subscription. I swear you just had a tier 1 subscription like a week ago when you were here when Oak was streaming. But regardless, we're happy to have you. So the boss month must have just changed. That makes sense. So we are of course starting off with 1 G4. Black follows this up by D5. Then H3, E5, taking the full center, admirable. Bishop G2, makes sense to me. Get the full diagonal. Black comes back with C6. And white plays D4. Okay. So this is the Grob opening keen defense, with the fourth move being D4. Black has established a pawn center, so white quite naturally strikes at this with the moves D4 and C4. Oh, the next move is C4. Knight D7, and as mentioned, C4. Sort of an odd, oh, what is this gambit? It's a response to the Queen's Gambit, I think. Starts with an A, it's been a while. Black responds with G knight to F6. Wait, nope, sorry. To F6, there we go. Promote, there we go. And delete. Okay, so typical development. I would say overall, I kind of consider black to be more developed right now just because it has 2 minor pieces out, whereas white only has the bishop. But I'm not an international master. C takes D5. C takes D5. Knight C3. Attacking here. Ooh, attacking the pawn. E takes D4. So attacking the knight. I would guess responding with the queen. Yep, queen takes D4. Bishop C5. C5. Oh, duh. Bishop C5, attacking the queen and the F pawn. Queen F4. So, where are we at? Okay, we have correctly followed everything so far, according to the picture here. Black's game is already a little awkward due to his isolated pawn on D5, true. And white threatens G4 to G5, which driving away the defender. Oh, driving away the defender of this pawn. Oh, so if white moves here, black has to, theoretically has to move to somewhere, like there, and then just pick up the pawn, free pawn. Though black began strongly in the center, it is now white who is dominant there. Well, let's challenge this. How many squares in the center does white control versus black? So white controls 1, 2, let's consider the center to be here, basically. 3, 4, 5. Threatens that one, but does not actually control it. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think that's it. Oh, also that makes no difference. All right. So white has 10, I believe I've said, whereas black has 1, 2, 3. Arguably, this is controlled by both. There. Controlled by both. I think that's it. So white does have one extra square that it is controlling over black in, from c3 to f6. It's interesting. All right, play continues with d4, attacking this knight. White responds with knight e4. Bishop b4 check. The computer actually likes white's position very slightly more. It's up 0.4, so half a pawn. This check only facilitates white's development because white can simply go bishop d2, directly attacking that bishop, which they now have to move again. Queen b6, protecting the bishop. Knight f3, f3 attacking this pawn, which now has no defender, or now only has the queen as the defender. Yes. Knight f3, bishop takes d2 check. F knight takes d2. Yeah, hello. Black castles kingside, and white castles kingside. Played to bring the rook in along the center lines. It is clear that black is not the ghost of an attack. Well, it is clear that black has not the ghost of an attack against the white king. That is true. You've basically gotten nothing right now. Play continues with black playing knight d5. Knight d5. Wait, knight d5. There we are. Attacking the queen. Uh, 15 queen to g5. Attacking the knight, which is not protected. Black responds by moving the 7 knight to f6. Protecting the knight. All right, knight c4, attacking the queen there. And queen b4. Queen before what? Then white moves the f rook to c1, protecting this knight. And black moves bishop e6. I believe further protecting this knight, just in case. Oh, because if oh yeah, because if, hang on, before this, if white takes there, check, you have to respond, and you can't actually take there, so you have to respond here? Wait. It's different than what I thought. Regardless. E6. Oh no, I closed the page. There we go. So, Black catches up in development, but soon finds he has considerable problems over the safety of his own king. Next is A3 from white. A3, attacking the queen. Followed by Queen E7. Oh, E7. There we are. White moves the C knight to D6. And black responds by moving its A rook to B8. There, protecting this pawn. White is currently up, according to the computer, by a pawn and a half, basically. White was threatening the 20th move, knight takes b7, as we mentioned, which would be followed by, hang on, I don't know, let's say they did that. It would be knight b7, followed by queen takes, and knight takes f6. Check. What about this? White is up by 10 here. How? Oh, you can't recapture here because then you lose your queen. That's very funny. Anyway, that is what was being threatened. Okay, so followed by the actual 20th move, which is knight takes f6. Oh, sorry. That, and then knight takes f6. Which the computer hates because that's not actually the move that was made. That was knight takes f7, delete that. Knight takes f6, there we are. Check. Followed by knight takes f6. Knight e4. Here again. Knight e4. F rook to c1, or to c8 rather. And then rook d1, which is notated as a good move. Hello everyone, by the way, it's nice to see you. Thank you for the follows, the few people who've just followed. I hope you all enjoy me reading from a 30-year-old chess book. I'm trying to learn a new opening. The Grob is considered to be statistically the worst opening that you can make. That is still a legitimate opening and not actually a joke. But we're going to learn to play it seriously and get weird with it. So, the d-rook move, that switches the attention to the weak pawn at d4. That is true, that pawn is weak. Black continues rook c2, threatening these pawns. An anonymous gifter is gifting 3 tier 1 subs to the community. Thank you so much. I appreciate the subscriptions. It's fantastic. We're all at chess and want to learn more. It is fun. I was saying that last year I quit for a while, but I'm trying to get back into it. I miss it in some ways. I was getting bored and frustrated with it, but I'm going to get weird with it instead. Okay, so black responds rook c2. Rook takes d4. Rook takes e2. The computer says white is now up by 4. Astonishing. Why? That one single move does so much. It goes from 0.6 to 4. Letting the computer think about it, it actually says 4.3. The computer sees knight g3. Show me this line. Knight g3. Bishop b3. e3. Knight takes e2. Oh, knight takes rook. Queen takes knight. Queen takes pawn. Black threatens a back rank mate, kind of. What in the hell is even going on in this line? I'm not sure. Anyway. Let me see. Okay, move 24. A rook to d1 from white. Wow, actually the computer hates that move. It brings it back down to 0.6 in white's favor. Interesting. Black's game is critically ill, and white is threatening to deliver mate by knight takes f6, check, queen takes f6, rook d8, check. Oh, and then it's just back rank mate, because they take, and then that's the game. Oh, and then it's, there, that's the game. So that is the threat. Hence Black's reply, giving his king an escape route at h7, which, of course, the reply is h6. And the computer loves that. We're up to 7.5 in white's favor. Interesting. And white responds with queen e5, which is notated as a good move. Queen e5. An abominable answer, which wins a rook straight off due to the twin threats of queen takes b8 check and knight takes f6 check, followed by queen takes e2. Okay. So essentially, the queen has indirectly forked both rooks. Because if you move this rook to protect it, then you simply take the knight and take this rook. This rook. There we go. Cool. And black resigns here. A smart move, I suppose. So the end of the introduction simply says, anyone for the Grob? I am here for the Grob, I suppose. Chapter 1, The Victims. Over the years, the Grob has notched up a goodly quota of wins against Masters and Grandmasters. However, there will inevitably be readers who wonder why there are no world champions on this list of victims. The reason for this is simple. They have not encountered the Grob. Yet. I love the confidence. So then it follows with a list of 15 games that will be shown against Nunn, Spielman, Ciballo, Plaskett, Hebden, Strauss, Tisdall, Talbot, Horvath, Costin, Goodman, Large, Whiteley, Arkell, and Pritchett. We're going to skip over that for the immediate moment because I know that after this, there's theory and practice. And that's what I'm more concerned with in the immediate. What is it we are looking at? Frankly, I think they should have put this as chapter 1, but I'm not a publisher. So, theory and practice. When you play the Grob, each game is a marvelous adventure, a trip into uncharted territory. However, even the most intrepid pioneer will not refuse a little assistance, so here I present a few ideas developed through my investigations into the Grob. The opening can be played with either color. I shall begin with the Grob with the Grob with white. After 1 G4, how the hell do I reset the board again? Board. Now there's a button here. It's been a while since I've used this website. Review and library practice for period new analysis. Okay. So after 1 G4, there are 3 main lines. Either black plays D5, E5, and C6, or knight C6, or black plays D5, D5, E5, and C6, or black plays D5, E5, and C5. Ooh, triple prong. Other formations have been less popular and are more difficult to classify. These will be discussed under the heading Miscellaneous. These latter, essentially subsidiary variations, where, for example, black omits the advance of one or both center pawns and fianchettos, either bishop, generally do not challenge the Grob as much as the main lines. But of course, care is always required in one's choice of opening moves. 10 complete games are considered here. I'm not going to list all of these names like I did before. Black plays. Okay, so first we're going to be examining the response line of d5, e5, and knight c6. So 1g4, d5, h3. In my games, I prefer to play this quiet passing move through the, though the more active bishop g2, bishop g2, bishop takes g4, c4, Hi baby, I'll be there watching 30. Well, I'm excited to see you soon. Let me see. This is the line that is advocated by Bloodgood in his book, The Tactical Grob. I think Bloodgood is the Grandmaster who is convicted of murder? Who favored the Grob? I'm pretty sure that's who. I want to make sure I'm not slandering anyone. Or I suppose libeling anyone. This is being recorded. Bloodgood. chess. Claude Bloodgood was the controversial American chess player. As a young man, he got into trouble with the law and was arrested several times. He was sentenced to death in 1970 after being convicted of murdering his mother. Jesus Christ. Although his sentence was later commuted to life in prison. While in prison, he remained a very active chess player, playing a large number of correspondence games and raid games with other inmates. Over time, he achieved a very high ranking in the USCF by playing in a closed pool, which was due to rating manipulation. Died in prison in 2001. What a life. Chess crimes. I think normal crimes. So, where were we? So we're doing H3 instead. No murder lessons today. So, Black responds with E5. Why wouldn't you take the full center? Then we're going to do bishop G2, get the bishop into that corner. Also possible, and awaiting investigation, are moves, such as knight F3, which I could see very easily being responded to with that. And you have to move to, I don't know, there maybe. Computer hates that. That? No, the computer hates this overall. What is it? Knight F3, D3, or B3, with, I assume, the intent of striking out with C4. And I assume the D3 thought is similar, striking out with E4. Let's see. So in this case, though, we are responding with knight C. Oop. Oh, sorry. In this case, we're responding with bishop B2, and Black responds with knight C6. One of Black's most aggressive anti-Grob formations. The development of the knight is, however, encountered less frequently than C6, possibly because many chess players are not particularly aggressive. You know, glove thrown, I suppose. With knight committed to C6, the D pawn is denied the support of its neighbor on the C file. Oh, sorry, let's go back to the knight C6. With the knight committed to C6, the D pawn is denied the support of the neighbor on its C file. D and C pawns are best friends. White can hope to exploit this factor by seeking to eliminate the slightly loosened D pawn and establish a grip on the key E4 square. Okay. Oh, which would explain B3 C4. Since they've brought that out, strike that, and try and get into here. The question then arises: how best to play for the advance C2 to C4? The preparatory D3 comes into consideration. As noted frequently in this book, White need not be at pains to avoid the kind of ending arising after. Hang on, let's start with D3. After G knight to E7, C4, which is question mark exclamation point, or exclamation point question mark rather, which is, I believe, a questionable move. A move deserving attention, okay. So this one is maybe a good idea, but you might want to think about it. whereas the reverse question mark exclamation point is a dubious or risky move. Which follows d takes c4, d takes c4, queen takes d1, exchange queens, and king takes d1. That is a bad position. It's not the worst, but it's not great. Alternatively, responding with bishop e6 is worth a thought here, attempting to restrain the c4 thrust through white. C4 thrust, though white could then continue with knight d2, protecting the queen, in theory, and also developing. After g knight to e7, c4, knight g6. g6. Okay. C takes d5. Bishop takes d5 and bishop e4. Bishop to e4. Where the hell is e4? e4. Ah. The desired occupation of e4 has been achieved. Another idea is to play immediately c4. Black can then try to hold d5 with either bishop to e6, Sorry, it's hard to keep my place here at times. Or knight to e7. Which knight to e7? It does not say. I have to assume it's this knight, just for development's sake. After this, queen a4, old reliable, which hang on, before we look at queen a4, this was played in Bosman-Crawley Barbation Quick Play 1989. The following: c takes d5, noted as a move worth consideration. Knight takes d5, knight c3, bishop e6, queen a4, old reliable, queen d7, d7. Interesting little square here. D3, black castles queenside. That was played in Bosman-Crawley Barbation Quick Play 1989. Black is slightly favored here. I can see why. More development overall. A bit tighter of a formation. The king is very well protected. Even this little pawn here is protected from the queen. Very solid. Anyway, so back to... Where the hell even was I? Here? Here. Okay. Queen a4. Bishop e6. Knight f3. F3. F6. D4. A move worth noting. E4. So just pushing it ahead, threatening the knight instead. E4, the F knight to d2 here, threatening this again. Or sorry, threatening this. Or putting pressure at least. Queen d7. C takes d5. Which they do have to respond to. If I were here, I would probably respond to that. Because it protects this from that. And that. And the pawn at e4 is weak. Yes, it is actually very weak. More critical response, going back, this is why studying from chess books is kind of a pain. More critical response to c4 right off the bat is d takes c4. White must now decide how best to regain the pawn. The move queen a4, old reliable, looks like a natural continuation. But originally, I thought that bishop d7 was good for black, since, of course, queen takes c4, knight d4, which is marked as a good move, followed by the questionable response from white, e3. Computer absolutely despises that. Down almost a full rook. Bishop b5. Oh, from black. Bishop b5. b5? b5. Attacking the queen. And queen c3. Pull back one. And bishop b4 traps the queen. Wins the queen. Because well, what can white do at this point? Oh, because if you take this, you get forked. Oh, you get the royal fork too. Oh, that's always horrible to see. You can't take here. You can't move to here, here, here. Can't move here, can't move here. Can't move here. Can't move here. Queen is trapped. I don't know what the best move is. Computer says just assume the queen's lost here and take what you can. It suggests that followed by this, which I suppose you get two pieces. It's something. However, a game between Jonathan Mestel and Lawrence Day at the Dubai Olympiad in 1986 cast a different light upon this. That game opened. Jeez, McCrow, we gotta go back to the opening. Okay, e4, e5. Oh, sorry, e4, c5. So Sicilian. Why are we talking about the Sicilian in the Grob? I assume, information will be revealed. d4, g6. G6. Knight c3. This is the Smith-Morra gambit. I don't know the Sicilian particularly well, or at all, really. Knight g7. Or sorry, bishop g7. Fianchetto. D takes c5. Queen a5. The reverse all reliable. Bishop d2, queen takes c5. bishop d2. Queen takes c5, taking the pawn right back. And then knight d5. It's kind of the inverse of what we were seeing before. Pterodactyl. Pterodactyl? Oh, modern defense, standard pterodactyl, eastern variation. Oh my god, why does this have like 7 names? Rampor. Ooh. Oh. Rampornicus variation? That's not a real person, right? Who in the world? I, for one, will call that the pterodactyl. Who names these things? I mean, most of them are just named after the person who either played them first or played them a lot. The Grob is named after Henry Grob, who played this a lot and wasn't very good with it. Who knows? I mean, even the Bomb Cloud is named after Reddit user Bomb Cloud. What the hell was I talking about? Oh, now rather than responding with e6, they played b6. They played b6, then bishop b4, queen c6, bishop b5, it's what we saw before, and then queen b7 here, and not all is lost here. And having found a secure haven for his queen, beat back the white pieces and eventually won the game. White's opening formation in this line of the Grob is identical to the black structure adopted here by Day, the so-called pterodactyl, except that the G and H pawns are both one square further advanced. Okay, the G and what pawns? Oh, in the Grob variation. Much pterodactyl theory can be transposed and applied to the Grob. I guess I gotta get a Sicilian book. Thus, after 1g4, d5, h3, e5, bishop g2, c6, c4, then d takes c4, queen a4, d7, bishop d7, queen takes c4, knight d4. White could try for b3 instead of the whole thing here before, where the queen slid back, or they attack the knight. Instead, back up your queen. Nope, that's not. Where the hell am I? Ah, yeah. So b3 is a suggested move here. The computer is still not a fan. So naturally, after a4, queen a4, black may prefer other moves to bishop d7. One possibility is knight e7. Again, they don't say which knight. I have to assume it's this one. Then queen takes c4, bishop e6, queen a4. Just slide back. When white is behind in development but has control over the e4 square. That they do. They are behind in development, though, rather shockingly. The other knight was pinned and couldn't move. Okay. Oh, yes, duh. Thank you. I probably would have noticed that if I was paying closer attention. Another idea after c4, d takes c4. Oh, shit. c4, d takes c4 is, where is it? Bishop takes c6. B takes c6. Oh, there we go, thank you. A line I tested against computers in 1983. Oh. When was Deep Blue? When were the Deep Blue games? Was that the late 80s? Deep Blue. Versus Gary Kasparov. 1996. And that's when Kasparov won. In 1997, Deep Blue won the rematch. Interesting. So that was still like almost like 13 years out from that. So computers couldn't have been that good at chess yet. This position shows white -1 bishop for knight, but black with a shattered queen side. True. White can now try a4. Reliable. Queen d5. Knight f3. Protect the rook. Queen b5. No, that can't be right. Oh, this queen to b5. And queen c2. When he has control of the key central squares, but may not recover his pawn. Alternatively, if we go back to move 6, instead, black could respond with e4. Computer hates that for black. To which white plays knight e5. What? How in the hell am I supposed to play knight e5? Oh, I'm sorry. Knight. I read ahead. Instead of queen a4. Hang on. Instead of queen a4 here, after the bishop takes c6 route, instead of queen a4, you can try for knight f3, and then black responds with e4, knight e5. That makes a lot more sense. Queen d5. And what else? Queen a4. This fails for black, as he cannot now play queen takes e5. Because is this check? Oh, duh, you can't take it. Sorry, you can't take e4 because that's your own piece. Can't take that because without allowing Queen takes c6 check. Oh, that's devastating. Yeah. Okay. Thus, this position favors white, who will be able to post his knights actively at c4, c4, and c3. Very active. A game in this line is given in Chapter 4, Game 13, between myself and the Sensory 9 chess computer. I haven't heard of that. Sensory 9 chess computer. Sensory 9 chess computer. I think this was a computer that you could buy. Huh. Championship play for the beginner or expert with Fidelity's remarkable sensory playing surface and the greatest lineup of astounding features ever. 9 different levels of playing difficulty can be selected to match the skills of any player, novice or advanced. So, this was... It was a little like computerized chess set that you could buy. That's odd. Where is it? Sensory 9. To round off consideration of the 3 knight c6 lines, knight c6, yes. It should be pointed out that white is hardly obliged to play directly for c4, thematic as this plan may be. Another approach is illustrated by the game Basman-Maguire, Cambridge 1981, which continued c3, g knight to e7, d4, e4, c4. White gets in c4 in 2 bytes, is the notation. Continuing f5. What is this Space Invaders formation here? Neat retro toy, yeah. Knight c3, bishop e6. See chapter 3, see the chapter 3 game. Oh, see chapter 3, game 6. Now besides, bishop g5, bishop g5, here. Besides that, e3 is also interesting. For example, it would follow with knight b4, queen a4 check, in which case you don't get the knight. The computer is really thinking about this one. It's basically even, but I think black is up a pawn. Or alternatively, instead of knight b4, queen d7, g knight to e2, knight b4, and knight f4, etc. Okay, etc. I mean, what can we personally think about this? What is white threatening? White isn't really threatening to take that because the queen will just take. Well, let's play that out. It's not my turn. Hang on, what is black's best move here? D takes c4. Okay, in that case, let's do this. Here is really thinking this is actually even. Takes back. Queen a4 check. But what if I do this? Castles. Aren't I just down a knight? Oh, I got the bishop at some. Oh, duh! I got the bishop. Okay, it's basically even here. Okay, we will do. How long is the second variation here? Let me see. It's only like 4 pages. Hopefully it's less in-depth. Okay, g4. Okay, g4, d5, h3, e5, bishop g2, c6. So this is the second most common variation. A very common continuation. The next move is d4, noted as a good move. Computer kind of disagrees. It's not bad, but this thrust is analogous to the Alpine variation of the Sicilian e4, c5, c3, d5. Black's second being justified on the grounds that after e takes d5, Jesus Christ. It's very common response that c3, d5, black's second being justified on the grounds that if e takes d5, queen takes d5, white no longer has the tempo gaining knight c3 at their disposal. Okay, so back to b3? No. Bishop, 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 bishop. There we go. The fourth move being c6. There we go. I kind of want to clear everything out here, actually. Can we like wipe this? Clear all analysis. Okay. c6. Clear all of this. Oh, whatever. We'll just do that. And we'll promote this to the main line. There we are. Okay, the king defense. After d4, black again has 3 main choices. 2a, 2b, and 2c. Either advancing with e4, exchanging on 4 with e takes d4. Hello, El Pixie. How are you? And maintaining the tension with either a knight d7 or bishop d6. So here or here. So those are the technically 4 choices. Black has 3 main choices. 4 choices. So let's look at advancing first and foremost. Advancing. White responds with c4, attacking the pawn chain. Once more, white strikes at the opposing pawn's center. Black responds with bishop d6. White goes knight c3, backing up this attack. And knight e7. There. Yes. Black's development is very natural. He intends to castle and possibly follow up with f5. So castle, and then f5. Backing up this whole chain here. I mean, it's pretty solid, it seems. The normal move now would be f3. f3. Normal is in quotations for the record. But this is clearly dangerous on account of bishop g3 check. Bishop... Hang on. Bishop g3 check. Oh, okay. Yeah, that would not be fantastic. You basically just gave up your right to castle. I don't see any other way out of it. So I guess you would move like there. Another idea showing concern for the development of the knight at g1 is e3. My favorite games conference. E3, G4, what is this? Tech gaming channel in 2005? Sorry. Silly. Though this too has a major drawback, in the dark squared bishop is locked inside the pawn chain. That is bad. Against Grunewald at Liga, I think, in 1981, I tried g5, bishop e6, h4, queen d7, knight h3, b5. Oh, wrong b5. b5. C takes b5. C takes b5. And knight f4. Interesting. And succeeded in deploying the knight actively against the d-pawn. Okay, yeah. Interesting. However, Black's play was not particularly obstructive, and later in the year, at the Benedictine tournament, Keen found a better plan. Oh, Keen of the Keen defense? Yeah, in a similar vein, responding with c4 seems extreme, yeah. This guy... Bossman sees any problem and he's like, the Mythbusters. Let's bring out the c4. Anyway, Keen found a better plan. g5. Sorry, g5. Bishop e6. h4. So same thing as before, but this time, knight f5. More active knight here, attacking that, I guess. and also the end of the pawn chain here. And you can't put a knight there. Well, but if you take it, I just take here. Well, I mean, let's play it out. I don't know, just A1 or A3 rather. Here, I take this. Yeah, they have no response. This might not be what they're thinking of here. The next natural move that the computer sees is bishop h3. Bishop h3. Oh, moving here and attacking that whole row. Diagonal column. This prevents knight h3. Oops, sorry. This prevents knight h3, backing up the pawn there. Because of the threat to the h-pawn. You have to address this. Oh, duh, it prevents you moving here because then this has no protection from the rook. I thought a great deal after defeat in this game, and 2 rounds later against Kudrin, I played instead. Instead of regular g5, instead of this, he played bishop g5 instead. The plan here is completely different. White is content to leave the knight at g1 for the moment, preferring to step up the pressure on the center by other means. Kudrin considered the position for a long time before eventually producing a good reply, which was f6. Seems pretty natural. The game continued bishop d2. Move it all the way back, I suppose. Castles. Queen b3. And king h8, which is considered to be a good move. This position is equal. The point of this is revealed after the sequence c takes d5, c takes d5, knight takes d5, oh, knight takes d5, when black plays bishop e6, winning a piece. Winning a piece. Okay, so like if I do that, you take here, take, and you're up 2 pawns? No, I'm up 2 pawns. In what way? Winning a piece, albeit for 3 pawns. Oh, after. I should have read further. After bishop takes e4. Oh, the thing I did. Bishop takes c7, or sorry, bishop to c7. This bishop. Queen takes b7. Bishop takes d5. Bishop takes d5. Queen takes d5. I'm guessing queen takes d5. Knight takes d5. So it's even material in points, but black has 1 piece for 3 pawns. I mean, the computer says it's equal. Yeah. I'm not sure which I would rather have in this position. Because in theory, white isn't terribly off here. Still has room to develop the knight and to castle in either direction. Bring the rooks to the center. But let's go back to that h8 move, king h8. The game continued. Rook c1, knight a6, e3, f5. And although black eventually won, I was more pleased with my showing in this game. Recently, Tim, a lot of games here where he loses with the Grob. I guess you learn from your mistakes. Recently, Tim Wall, who's become a specialist in the Grob and has wins against Sheila Jackson and Brian Ely twice, to his credit in the line, suggested another interesting plan on move 7. Move 7. So let's go back to move 6. It's our bedtime. It's been fun. Enjoy your chess. Well, thank you for coming out. It was nice seeing you. Let me see. 97. Okay. So, Tim Wall suggested queen b3, black castles, bishop g5, f6, c takes d5, c takes d5, knight takes d5, bishop e6, knight takes e7, check, queen takes e7. This is giving me anxiety. Queen takes e7, d5. I guess you're keeping pressure on. F takes g5, and d takes e6. So now this pawn basically stands in the way of a discovered check here. Obviously, you can't take, you just lose your queen. Can't move here, or here, or here, because that would also be stupid. When white has a pawn more in a complex position, yet another idea on move 7. Yet another idea on move 7 is queen c2, intending to move bishop d2, castle queenside, or rather that, and finally f3 when white does not have to fear check on g3. Okay. 2b. Hi baby, how are you? So we're going back to move 4, black's fourth move. Responding with, instead of e4, e takes d4. Queen takes d4. The variation is an attempt by black to defuse the game by playing for a simpler position. White needs to be careful over the placing of his queen, since it may eventually come under attack on d4. Okay. It should be noted that the plan of knight d7, knight c3, Queen b6. Knight f7. This should allow white a slight edge. Bosman Wager? Millwall Open 1981 continued instead with Queen f4 and Knight e7. And white got into difficulties after h4. Ooh, wrong h4. h4. Knight g6. Queen g3. Bishop b4. a3. c5. Bishop c5. Knight h3. Wow, the computer loves this for white at the moment. Says you were up a full piece at this point. Does white squander it with h3? Knight h3? Yes, white absolutely squanders it. Why? b4. Oh, b4 just traps the bishop. Why wouldn't you do that? What don't I get? Anyway, I suppose we're squandering it then. Castles. Oh, it's going back up because it still says you have this. Castles. Now you're actually losing my pawn. My chess emote. Cute. Instead of castling, he says h5 must be better. It's not bad. It is better than just castling. But anyway, we are castling here. And following up with e7. e7. Bishop e7. Where the hell is the bishop at e7? Did I fuck this up somewhere? What bishop can go to e7? Bishop e4, a3, bishop c... Oh! I did fuck this up. Bishop c5. I went to a5. That's a lot better. Yeah, that's a lot less stupid. And then h3. Castles. Bishop e7, a move that you can now make. g5. f5. Oh, sorry, f5. Google en passant. It doesn't really do anything, but it always feels good to en passant. And marks f5 as a good move. Interesting. Anyway, going back to the other game. Okay, going back to knight f3. Oh dear God. Knight f3. Black instead responds with the g knight moving to f6. g5. Knight g8. Just move it back. It's very funny, actually. Bishop e3. Knight e7. Trying it again. Castle queenside. F5. Knight F5. Oh, knight F5. Moving this knight 3 times now. Queen F4. Knight takes E3. F takes E3. Bishop E7. E4. D takes E4. Knight takes E4. Castles. And knight D4. Knight D4. Bosman Gabriel, City Chess, London 1988. White has some advantage. Stockfish says that black has 1/10 of a pawn of advantage. So I'm not sure about that. How long is the other variation? It is like 2 pages. The book is pre-Stockfish. It's just funny to analyze it now. This book is older than I am. This book is from 1991. It's only older than me by 2 years, for the record. It's just fascinating to see how, like, this, like, the human analysis says white is slightly better here, but the computer says it's more or less even. If anything, black has a slight advantage. It's just neat. Let's do 2C. It's like a page and a half. So 2C, moving back to the 4th move, D4. Black instead responds with knight D7 and C4. A promising gambit continuation with which I have had a number of successes. See Section 1, Game 5 versus International Master David Strauss, and Section 4, Game 4 against De La Motte. Another recent example was Bosman versus N. Foster, Probation Quick Play 1989. Game continues, D takes C4. Oh, D takes C4. Nope, that wasn't correct either. D takes C4. D takes E5. Knight takes E5. Queen takes D8 check. King takes D8. Giving up the right to castle. Knight C3. Bishop B4. Bishop E3. Bishop takes C3 check. B takes C3. Knight E7. Sorry, wrong knight E7. Ooh, the stylish move. Castle queenside check. Even if it doesn't do much, it is very cool. Bishop D7. Or, for the 11th move, they could respond with C7. And I suppose almost like castle by hand. If you, I don't know, if you move the bishop out of the way and then move the rook there, or if you move the rook here and to a little do-si-do. Like, that doesn't even work. Whatever. Ignore me. Which follows with F4, kicking the knight out to D7. Bosman Mackel, St. Albans, 1989, when 13 F5 gives white a strong position. Anyway, back to bishop d7. Where the hell that went? Here. f4. Kick out the knight. Knight goes to g6. f5. Knight moves back to e5. To e5, d4, or sorry, bishop d4. More pressure on that knight. f6. Knight f3. Knight takes f3. Bishop takes f3. Rook e8. And e4. b6. H rook to e1. And c5. Oh, c5. Bishop f2. This is short because they just don't provide a live commentary, it seems. Rook c8. Rook c8, rook c8. e5. F takes e5. Rook takes e5. Knight g8. Rook e6. Rook e6. That can't be right. Oh, duh. They can't move. It's pinned. Rook e7. Bit of tension here. Bishop h4. Ooh, an extra pin. Not looking good for black here. King e8, undoing the pin. Both pins. Computer says white is up by 7 points here. Knight takes e7 check. Ooh. Knight takes e7. Rook e1. Black resigns. I would too. Another quick play encounter from Bosman Brown Stroud, 1981, further illustrates white's chances in this ending from previous diagram. So this is after the fifth move. Which fifth move? c4. 5 c4. Wrong one. There we go. Instead, d takes c4, d takes e5, knight takes e5, queen takes d8 check, king takes d8, c3, knight c3 rather, bishop d6, bishop d6, bishop e3. For his pawn, white has play against the badly placed enemy monarch, plus a lead in development and a potential pawn roller on the king's wing. Pawn roller on the king's wing. Hell does that mean? The game finished. Game only goes 10 more moves. The game finished with f5, questionable. Castle queenside, pinning the bishop. King c7, undoing the pin. Knight f3. F takes g4. Knight d4. Knight f6. Ooh. Stockfish hated that. That puts you down 7. Because the d knight goes to b4 check. C takes b5. Knight takes b5 check. King d7, you want to protect the bishop. Rook takes d6 check. That's devastating. Knight e7, the king, or king e7, the king is on the run. Bishop c5. King f7. Just scooching over. Knight c7. Attacking the rook. G takes h3. I mean, might as well while we're here. Bishop d5. Unperturbed here. Bishop d5? d5. Where did that knight go? Hang on. I gotta trace this one back. f5. Castles. c7. f3. F takes g4. d4. f6. D knight to b5 check. C takes b5. That. Check. d7. Rook takes d6. Check. e7. Am I missing something? Knight f6, not f3. No, knight f6. Oh, knight f6. You're right. You are absolutely correct. Knight f6. Okay, d takes b5. Or the d knight. D knight to b5 check. Take. d7. That. e7. c5. f7. Knight c7. G takes h3. Bishop d5 check. Knight takes d5. Rook takes d5. Black resigns. Yeah, that's not good. Okay, on move 4, Black can also maintain tension in the center. Hang on. Move 4. I believe... No, not that one. This one? Man. We've gone through so many variations here, I forget what the hell we're talking about. e5, e5, c6. And then d4 as the 4th move. And we were talking about responding with d7. Or instead, in this case, responding with bishop d6 here. c4. D takes c4. This game is presented without commentary for the record. D takes c5, or e5 rather. Bishop takes e5. Queen exchange. Knight f3. Bishop c7. Knight a3. Knight e7. I've neglected to develop this at all. Bishop d2. King e8. Bishop takes c4. Knight takes c4. Bishop e6. Knight to e3. Knight d5. Knight f5. That can't be right. Yeah, knight f5. Bishop takes f5. G takes f5. That is... Oh, knight f5. Duh. Bishop takes f5, G takes f5. That makes a lot more sense. D7, knight d7. Castle queenside. Knight f4. No, knight f4. Bishop f1. Knight c5. Rook g1. My rook g1. Knight e4. I'll have knight play in this game. Knight e4. Bishop to e1. Rook g8. Rook d4. Threatening both knights. Well, at least threatening this one. Knight f6. Bishop d2. Knight 4 to d5. d5. Rook to h4. To h4. Oh, this rook, h4. Bishop b6. b6. I hear mad snoring in the other room. Rook g2. Knight e7. Knight e7. e4. King f8. Bishop c4. And black resigns. Why does black resign? Looks like you can really wreak some havoc with a knight over there. It doesn't look fantastic. Well, okay, that's... We'll do the last page covering the third common variation, and then we'll play like one, maybe two games. Oh my god, it's almost 1 in the morning. Where does the time go? Okay. G4, back to the Grob. Can we clear all analysis? Okay, Grob opening. It's the wrong stockfish button, or the wrong button. Review cloud analysis board interface. Whatever. Okay, so G4, E5, H3, D5, Bishop G2, C5. The triple prong here. And then we're promoting this to the main line. There we go. Okay. This formation is favored by Queen's Pawn players who are used to facing the King's Indian, Nimzo Indian, Grunfeld, etc. In fact, I find it slightly easier to play against when I am black after, for example, 1c4, starting with an English. 1c4, g5, playing the Grob defensively. d4, h6, e4, and g7, a line which will be examined later. It is quite possible that psychological reasons account for the difficulty I have in exploiting the move in hand. In a general sense, black's structure is too rigid, though it does give an advantage in space. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. c4, d4, d3, knight c6, knight d2, bishop e7. No, bishop e7. I would prefer black respond with bishop d6 to defend the pawn at e5. However, we're going with e7 instead. Bishop takes c6, check. Bishop takes c6, check. Check. Which does not have to make, white does not have to make this capture, which cedes a valuable bishop in exchange for the doubling of black's pawns. However, after black's inaccuracy on move 6, the capture becomes more attractive. Oh, so if they move here, this becomes more attractive. Because b takes c6, queen a4, all reliable, queen c7, the g knight to f3, bishop d7, wrong bishop, knight b3. White sets to work immediately on the weakened queen side, continuing knight f6, queen a5, queen trade, and things are equal. Basman Davies, City Chess Quick Play 1989. In view of the weakened c-pawns, white has good prospects in the endgame. For another demonstration of white's play in this line, see Bosman Goodman, Victim number 11 earlier, that we didn't read. A deeper discussion of the e5, d5, c5 structure is deferred until later when I come to look at the Grob with black. Okay. So, before we go into a different game, let's let's review the basic idea of what we're doing with the Grob. Basically, we want to go g4, g4, h3, bishop g2. And then we start striking at the center with these pawns. So we're setting up this really powerful bishop. It's basically what I'm getting so far. This really is starting to get my mind back into where it used to be. Sometimes the problem with like going over these games in chess books and things, it's like I play the game and then it's like in one ear out the other. Like I don't really, I understand some of what was learned here, but I can't repeat this back to you. Like, I mean, that one game that was basically presented without commentary. What am I going to say? Like, I can only really say the sports interview after game thing of, yeah, they just wanted it more. We played a good game out there. They just played better. They've been training more. I just don't know what to say. Let's play an actual game. So I've currently fallen to 1140. Oh my goodness, hang on. I have to move my clock here. That works. Okay, I think that should do it. Okay, live theater. Let's play. Should I play a 10-minute or a 30-minute? 30-minute would let me think more. Let's play a 30-minute. And we will try to play the Grob. White or black, I suppose. We're playing black, of course. Against R. Morgan GM, raid 1257. And they're starting out with the E-pawn. Fuck it. The Borg defense. Oh, it's Grob backwards. That's funny. I'm sticking with the plan. Then we're going to strike out here, starting with like that. So he thinks that he's just going to sneak a quick victory in here. I mean, in short, no, I can just do this. Or this. This is more active. If he takes, obviously, I just take. I kind of like that. Okay. And now we begin to strike back. What is your plan? Oh, what, that you're going to go there? I mean, fundamentals, let's just back up the pawn. Because they go here, I take, they take. I mean, check, I move to here. And they can take there. That's pretty bad. Night Sky, thank you for the subscription. 7 months. Since they've moved that out, let's take a second to make ourselves stronger here, if we can. Let's stick with the plan. Okay, so I can't take back, otherwise I lose the rook. And the knight, really. I think that works. It's been a while since I've played. So if I capture this, what are they going to do? He's brought his knight out to here. I'll probably take there. I take there. You can't take there because I'll just take there. I'm okay with that, I think. I can't be afraid to lose. I am experimenting here. He moved back. Actually, there are a couple of... No, let's do that. I would like to force something. His queen is in a very inconvenient spot for me. Thank you? Check. Block. Is this a trap? The only immediate checks I see are here. So, I think thank you. Followed by a free bishop? He's got a couple of very uncomfortable pieces here. Which one do I want to do? Let's go to here. I mean, trade off material if you want. I'm up a queen. He's attacking this, but it's protected by my Grob pawn. Hang on. If I move here, that comes to here. I mean, I think I would prefer just going to here, straight off. Hey guys, is the Grob good, actually? So they're threatening that. I could push, but then it just gets taken there. I mean, let's just make them uncomfortable. They could do that, but in that case I just take there. It lets you grab the win, yeah. Okay, my thoughts, I could go here, and if they take there, then I've completely lost it already. Because what I don't really want them to do is they're threatening this this here. I could just move my queen. I could also move this bishop. I think I'm going to take the pawn. And if they move here or here, I will simply say no thank you. Oh, we're just cleaning up now. So thank you, in fact, for oh motherfucker. That's okay. because check. My immediate thought is to go here. They take there. Well, if I go there, I promote. Can't take. He moves, I take the bishop. Right? I mean, I could also fuck around and find out some more here, but let's play it simple. We're up 16 points. We gain 39 points if we win this, for the record. Which is not looking unlikely. Because we also have this delightful move. What does that do? That allows you to move here? Well, let's make it so he will never financially recover. That's fine because I can... He resigned. That's best. The Grob wins. Can you believe it? What a game. Good sport, good sport. Say good game. I'm back. I missed it. Oh, maybe we can watch it back. The Mighty Borg, yeah. We certainly assimilated him. What the hell happened? Use my, one analysis per day here. A wild game, but you came out on top. I had a single really bad blunder. And he had... Or I had 2 misses, and he had 4 horrible blunders. An accuracy at 50 versus an accuracy of 71. This is the Borg defense. H6 is the last book move. H6 defends G5 pawn. I played the King's Pawn opening 47 times with a 40% win rate. No, I'm sorry. I've played the Borg defense once with a 100% win rate. Thank you very much, coach. This is an inaccuracy. I missed the opportunity to threaten winning a pawn. So he does that. Instead, threaten winning a pawn. Threaten winning a pawn. I could do that. Does it like that? Go back to review. You try. There, okay. What about that? Do you like that? Game review is currently not working. We apologize for the inconvenience and are trying to fix it. Okay. What's the best move? Show me the best move. Oh, just immediately striking out with c4 here, or c5. Creates a threat to win the game. Oh, you can show the threat. That's cute. Oh, like all of these are blunders. All of these moves. An inaccuracy, followed by a mistake, followed by an outright blunder. This allows the opponent to reveal an attack on the queen. Well, I thought that's best. That's best. That is a miss. You're threatening to you're threatening to fork pieces. That's a blunder. Because it allows the opponent to reveal an attack. But if I take here, which is apparently best, what happens? Oh, duh. They can't take because I have my bishop. I was worrying about that for so long. And it just didn't even matter. I successfully psyched him out with the Borg. I did. It's like the end of that one Deep Space... No, not Deep Space Nine. Next Generation episode where Picard shows up on screen and he's all Borged out. That's what I was like to him. I was like that. 1247, yeah, I beat a 1247. I'm back up to 1179. I can hit 1200 again. The Grob is the key. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. That was a miss. You are threatening to fork pieces, but here I can just do that instead. And he can't take there because he would also lose his queen. And then it's just best move after best move? Even the move where I lost my queen? It says that's an excellent move. A solid choice, but you're still down. Actually, they're down by 24. They're down by like a whole board, basically. What is it, 36 points? My god. Good job, that's what I would have played too. Thank you, coach. Okay. Forced that. You're winning here, but you had... Oh, I actually had mate in 3. Mate in 3. Mate in 3. So here forces him to here, there, to here, and then like there? Something like that? Let's see. Mate in 2. He goes here. King d2 is best. And then from here, I go here. Oh, sorry. That is best. And then mate in 1, king can only move to here. And mate in 1 is that. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Borg is good, actually. I think maybe Michael Bosman is onto something. So, in the back of the book here, there's like a workbook and you score on. Hang on. You score on the Grobometer. You can't really see it because it won't. Oh, there we go. The Grobometer. We'll do another stream later this week of reading more of The Killer Grob by Michael Bassman, and perhaps we will all learn something. I am very excited by that. That really jazzed me back up. I thought for sure I was about to go in here and just lose automatically. You good, Chess? I'll have you know I'm 100 on the Grobometer. Thank you. Thank you very much. Grob approved. I hit Grandmaster with the Grob. Imagine at age 30. Anyway. So that was fun. Let's do this again soon. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the subscriptions. This was actually a very big stream for us. Thank you for being here. We'll stream again soon. Oak streams pretty regularly. He streams XCOM. I'm going to get back into streaming chess, I suppose. I think I maybe found my thing. At least for now. Alright. Vogue Plate Up stream on Friday. Perhaps, yeah. We can Vino can play some Plate Up and stream that. I think that would be fun. Alright. Thank you everyone. Have a nice night.